How do you defeat an army that is nearly twice your size, on its own home turf? How do you turn their greatest strength into a fatal weakness and achieve a victory so complete it becomes the textbook example of tactical genius for the next 2,000 years? You are about to find out. In 216 BC, the Roman Republic gathered the largest army it had ever assembled, nearly 87,000 soldiers with a single purpose: to destroy the man who had invaded their country and haunted their nightmares. His name was Hannibal Barca. The Romans had every advantage. Their plan was simple and brutal: overwhelm the enemy with a tidal wave of infantry. But Hannibal had a different plan. He wasn't just going to defeat this army. He was going to swallow it whole. This is the story of the perfect battle, a day so catastrophic it would be remembered as Rome's darkest hour. This is the story of the Battle of Cannae. The road to Cannae was paved with Roman blood. 2 years earlier, in 218 BC, Hannibal had done the impossible. He marched his army from Spain, across the Pyrenees, and over the frozen Alps to descend into Italy. His famous war elephants mostly died on the journey, but his strategic mind was sharper than ever. The overconfident Romans first met him at the river Trebia in a freezing December. Hannibal used his cavalry to lure the Romans, who hadn't even eaten breakfast, across the ice-cold river. As the main lines clashed, he unleashed a hidden force of 2,000 men who slammed into the Roman rear. Flanked and frozen, the legions collapsed. It was an absolute disaster, but the worst was yet to come. The following spring, Hannibal goaded the new consul, Gaius Flaminius, into a reckless chase. He led the Roman army along a narrow path on the shore of Lake Trasimene. It was the perfect kill box. During the night, Hannibal hid his entire army in the wooded hills overlooking the path. As a thick morning mist rolled in, he gave the signal. His forces charged down, appearing from nowhere to hit the Roman flank and rear. Trapped between the hills and the lake, the Roman army was annihilated in what became the largest successful ambush in military history. 15,000 Roman soldiers, including the consul himself, were killed in a few hours. 2 battles, 2 humiliating defeats. Rome was terrified. They appointed a dictator, Quintus Fabius Maximus, who deployed a radical and deeply un-Roman strategy. He refused to fight Hannibal head-on. This Fabian strategy involved shadowing Hannibal's army, cutting off his supplies, and using guerrilla tactics, a slow war of attrition, and it was working. Hannibal was stuck deep in enemy territory, unable to get the decisive battle he needed. The Romans saw this as cowardice, but was it actually a stroke of genius? Let us know if you think the Fabian strategy was the right move in the comments below. The Fabian strategy felt like cowardice to the Roman people. They craved a final, glorious battle. So, in 216 BC, they did something unprecedented. They raised 8 legions, a colossal force of about 86,000 men, to find Hannibal and crush him with overwhelming numbers. Command was given to 2 new consuls with completely opposite personalities. Gaius Terentius Varro was a rash, overconfident populist who believed in brute force. Lucius Aemilius Paulus was a cautious aristocrat who respected Hannibal's genius. Making matters worse, their command of the army alternated every single day. This divided leadership was a recipe for disaster. Now, you might think an army this massive couldn't possibly lose, and that's exactly what the Romans thought. Pushed by Varro, their plan was painfully simple. They would mass their infantry into an incredibly deep and dense formation. The goal wasn't to outmaneuver Hannibal, but to act as a human battering ram, punch straight through his center and shatter his line. It was a strategy that ignored every lesson from Trebia and Trasimene. They assumed Hannibal would fight a conventional battle. They were wrong. A divided command and an overly simple plan facing a tactical genius. If you were Paulus or Varro, what would your strategy have been? Share your battle plan in the comments. In early August 216 BC, the moment came. Hannibal had seized a critical Roman supply depot at Cannae on the flat, open plains of southeastern Italy, perfect terrain for his superior cavalry. Paulus knew it was a terrible place to fight, but on August 2nd, it was Varro's day to command, and he was determined to attack. As the sun rose, a hot wind called the Libeccio swept dust and sand across the plain. Hannibal cleverly arranged his army so the wind would blow directly into the Romans' faces. Every detail mattered. The Roman formation was a terrifying sight, a dense, massive block of infantry at its heart, ready to deliver the hammer blow. Facing this behemoth stood Hannibal's diverse army of roughly 50,000 men, a mix of Libyans, Iberians, and Gauls. Hannibal knew his Gallic and Spanish infantry in the center were not strong enough to withstand a direct charge from the legions. This was his greatest weakness, and he decided to make it the cornerstone of his masterpiece. His formation was pure genius. He placed his superior cavalry on the wings, as expected. But in the center, where his weakest troops stood, he did something extraordinary. Instead of a straight line, he pushed the Iberians and Gauls forward into a shallow, convex crescent that bulged toward the Romans. It looked like an invitation, a weak point, begging to be broken. To the Romans, it must have seemed like a desperate error. It was bait. Hannibal turned his army's greatest weakness into the bait for his trap. What are some other examples from history where a commander turned a disadvantage into a decisive strength? We'd love to read your examples in the comments. The battle began. Just as Hannibal had predicted, the massive Roman infantry block surged forward, aiming straight for the bulging Carthaginian center. The Gauls and Iberians braced as the lines crashed together in a storm of steel. Simultaneously, the cavalry clashed on the flanks. On Hannibal's left, his heavy cavalry, led by his general Hasdrubal, shattered the Roman horsemen commanded by Paulus. Meanwhile, the Roman infantry was winning, or so they thought. The sheer weight of their numbers pushed the Carthaginian center back. The crescent of Gauls and Spaniards gave ground slowly and deliberately, executing a controlled retreat. The convex bulge flattened, then bowed inward, forming a pocket. This was the critical moment. The Roman legions, smelling blood and sensing victory, lost all discipline. Soldiers from the rear surged forward, packing the formation so tightly that many men could barely lift their arms to swing their swords. They had driven themselves headfirst into a U-shaped trap, with Hannibal's elite African infantry waiting on their now exposed flanks. On the far side of the field, Hasdrubal's victorious cavalry executed a brilliant maneuver. Instead of chasing the routing Romans, they galloped behind the entire battlefield and smashed into the rear of Varro's allied cavalry, who also broke and fled. The Roman infantry was now utterly alone and surrounded. As they were packed into the pocket, Hannibal gave the final order. His veteran African infantry, who had been waiting patiently, turned inward and charged into the compressed Roman flanks. At the same time, Hasdrubal's cavalry closed the circle, attacking the Roman infantry from behind. The trap was sprung. The double envelopment was complete. The largest army Rome had ever fielded was sealed in a kill box. Their numbers had become their undoing. There was no room to move, no formation to hold, and no way out. All that was left was the slaughter. The double envelopment at Cannae was a symphony of destruction. What do you think was the single most brilliant move that sealed Hannibal's victory? Share your analysis with us below. What followed was not a battle, it was an execution. Hemmed in on all sides, the Roman soldiers were systematically cut down for hours. By sunset, the plain was a carpet of bodies. The scale of the disaster is difficult to comprehend. Ancient historians like Polybius and Livy give staggering numbers. Livy states around 50,000 were killed, while Polybius claims as many as 70,000 Romans and their allies died, with another 10,000 captured. It's estimated that a huge percentage of Rome's entire military-age male population died in a single afternoon. The dead included an appalling number of Rome's elite. The consul Lucius Aemilius Paulus lay among them, having fought to the end. So did 2 former consuls, 29 military tribunes, and about 80 men of senatorial rank. Varro, the consul whose aggression led to the disaster, escaped with just a handful of horsemen. By comparison, Hannibal's losses were minimal, around 6,000 to 8,000 men. He had achieved one of the greatest tactical victories in military history. His cavalry commander, Hannibal, urged him to march on Rome immediately, famously saying, "You know how to win a victory, Hannibal, but you do not know how to use one." An unbelievable victory, but the war was far from over. Hannibal's words have echoed through history. Why do you think Hannibal chose not to march on Rome right then? Post your immediate theory in the comments before we get into the great debate. Hannibal's masterpiece at Cannae brought the world's greatest power to its knees. Rome was defenseless, its armies shattered, its leadership decimated, and its people in a state of utter panic. So why didn't he march on Rome? What stopped the man who had outsmarted the legions at every turn from delivering the final killing blow? That is one of the greatest questions in military history, debated for over 2,000 years. What do you think? Let us know your theory in the comments below. Thanks for joining us for this look into Hannibal's genius. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the art of war, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next story. We have a whole community dedicated to military history, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Until next time.